I, Tonya is a biographical sports drama that details the true story of ice skater Tonya Harding and the famous incident that happened that ended up sabotaging Nancy Kerrigan's chances at skating in order to try and boost the popularity and success of Tonya Harding and her ice skating career. And going into this movie, I was very much looking forward to it because I'd heard so many great things about it. I hadn't really seen many trailers, but the night before I saw the film, actually, I saw the trailer for the first time and it just looked so great. It looked so much fun as well. It looked a lot funnier than I was expecting, and so going into this film I was really looking forward to seeing it, especially after seeing that trailer. And coming out, yeah, I absolutely love this film. I can most certainly see why everyone's raving about it. It was really great. First off, what I like most about this film is that even though it's a biographical drama that's detailing this true story, unlike most true story films, it's not presenting everything as fact. You know, in most films, you just take everything you see on screen as fact. You're like, oh, okay, this is obviously real, this is obviously what happened, and you don't question anything you see on screen because most of the time these kind of true story films present everything to you in a way where you're like, oh, okay, that obviously really happened, oh my god, I can't believe that really happened. But what this film did is it completely subverted that. It didn't present everything as fact. In fact, it kind of did the opposite. It presented it as we don't really know what to think here, we don't really know what to believe, and it was done really well. The film was a lot more playful and it really played with our expectations in that it presented everything as kind of, questionable. We didn't know what to think, we didn't really know what was real, because we have the actors here playing the real life people, not only in the dramatized kind of recreation of past events, but they're also playing the real people in documentary style vignettes. So instead of actually having the real people talking to camera in these documentary style bits, we have the actors portraying the real people talking to camera. So it was great because it gave the movie kind of unreliable narration, so we didn't really know what was true or not and what we should take as fact, what really happened, and the movie kind of plays with that. It's very playful and it's very funny, and it really kind of has fun with that. So we don't know what's real, what actually happened or not, because we're having these facts presented to us and these stories and these kind of memories of past events detailed to us by the actors playing the characters in the movie. So we're not really sure what to take as fact or not. And even if it was the real people, it probably would still be an unreliable narration because they don't really want to tell us all the truth, and so the movie really plays with that and has a lot of fun with that. So we're seeing the characters here talking to us as the audience, and we're not sure whether we should take what they're saying as truth or not, or whether they're kind of just making it up and they're trying to just cover for themselves. So I really like that aspect of the film. I think that was done really well. Another thing I have to talk about is this film was so sharply written. It was a really great screenplay. I mean, the acting, which I'll touch on in a minute, the acting all round was really great, but the writing was so good. It was really sharply written. It was really wickedly funny. It was a really surprisingly funny film because obviously it's quite dark in terms of some of the things that happen. A lot of these characters are quite warped and a lot of these characters are quite almost sociopathic, but there's a lot of dark humour that comes from that because of what these characters do and what they, try to do to Nancy Kerrigan and what happens in this crazy story. It really is. If you didn't know this was a true story, you probably think it was made up, because it's a really kind of almost the Wolf of Wall Street, a really crazy true story populated with these really crazy eccentric characters. You really can't believe this actually really happened. And like I said, it was so well written, it was so funny, so whip smart, so clever in its humour as well. It wasn't just stupid childish humour, it was really clever, sharply written humour that just really worked. It really popped, and it was really zingy, really whip smart, and delivered fantastically by the actors as well. And I really wasn't expecting this movie to be as funny as it was. Like I said, it was quite darkly comedic at times, but it also had a Ferris Bueller style sense of humour in that it broke the fourth wall. So not only were we having the actors portraying the characters talking to us in these documentary style vignettes that are intercut throughout the film, but we also have the actors actually in the moment looking at the camera and talking to us whilst in the middle of doing something. So that added a real fresh sense of humour to this movie, in that it was so refreshingly funny. This film could have gone the serious route. It could have been really serious and dramatic like a lot of other true story films, but I think it was the perfect decision to make it a lot more playful, a lot more funny, because yes, there are some serious things that happen. This is no way a funny, light-hearted story or anything, but because these characters are so crazy and so insane, I think it was such a great decision to take it in more of the comedic route and make it really kind of whip smart and really funny and have the characters just talk to the camera every now and then. It made it really feel kind of refreshingly different. It wasn't just another true story film, another kind of biographical sports drama. It was a great kind of dark comedy almost as well. It was very funny, and I think it was just such a well-written script. And of course, I've got to talk about the performances. As great as this film was, as far as kind of a writing standpoint, the performances really carried through on that. I mean, Margot Robbie delivers a show-stopping performance in this movie. I'm a big fan of Margot Robbie, and she doesn't look exactly like Tonya Harding, but just seeing her in the role, and just seeing how committed and dedicated she clearly was. I mean, it looked like she did a lot of the ice skating herself. I mean, some of the things that Tonya Harding does in this movie, she surely couldn't have done, but a lot of the ice skating scenes were shot in such a way where they were kind of riveting to watch. She was doing a lot of that skating herself, in terms of the way it was filmed. We often saw her face and then saw her skating on these long uncut takes where we're like, that's actually her skating, unless there was some camera trickery going on or some CGI face over somebody else. That actually looks like Margot Robbie doing these ice skating. So yeah, you could tell she was really committed and really dedicated to really wanting to play this part as well as she could. She almost Tom Cruised it in a way where she was just full on in that role, and she did an incredible job. It really was a showcase of Margot Robbie. And sometimes I don't like it when films are like, oh look how amazing this actor is, they're the star of the show, it's really their movie, woo! But this movie, it worked because Margot Robbie did such a great job in the role, and she's not only a great movie star, but she's a great actor as well, and she did a really great job in the role of Tonya Harding. Like I said, she didn't look exactly like Tonya Harding or anything, but she did a really great job at embodying that character and, it really making us believe that she was Tonya Harding. The accent, the behaviour, the mannerisms, everything about it, she really was the star of this show, and she really delivered such a show-stopping performance. And I'm glad she got nominated for Best Actress. I don't think she's got a shot of winning, but she did do an incredible job, and I'm really glad she's got the recognition she deserved. But also, who's not to be overlooked is Sebastian Stan. Yes, big fan of Sebastian Stan, of course, Winter Soldier from the Marvel movies. He also popped up in Logan Lucky actually last summer, and Sebastian Stan is a really great actor, and although Margot Robbie is absolutely outstanding in this film and really kind of steals the show, and it really is her movie, Sebastian Stan actually has a much bigger role than I was expecting in this movie. He's almost in it as much as Margot Robbie is, and he had a really big part, and I really loved him as that character. He did a really great job. It's a really kind of different character we're used to seeing him play before, but everything he did with that character, I often forgot it was Sebastian Stan because he really kind of became that person, and I forgot that was actually him. And everything with him and Tonya Harding and their back and forth was really great, and how that was really kind of at the core of this film, just this tense, awkward, kind of crazy relationship between Tonya Harding and her boyfriend, this crazy kind of life that they have behind the scenes, and how everything that's going on in Tonya Harding's life with a relationship with her boyfriend, who then becomes her husband, and a relationship that she had with her mum growing up, everything is basically filters into what Tonya Harding is actually like, and we actually get to learn why Tonya Harding is just so crazy and so insane. It was really the influence from all these people around her that made her so unhinged and so kind of crazy, if you will. And so that was really cool to see the backstory of it all, seeing the relationship with this boyfriend that she meets with her mum as well. And of course, I've got to talk about Allison Janney, who plays Tonya Harding's mum in this film. She was great. And I would not be surprised if Allison Janney wins the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. She was so incredible in this movie, and as great as Margot Robbie, Sebastian Stan, everyone else in the film were, she was a real scene stealer. She's not in the film as much, but every time she comes on screen, she just has such a presence, and she just really nailed it as that character. It didn't even feel like I was watching Allison Janney. She looks nothing like how she normally looks in real life. She really became that character. It was a really kind of transformative performance. It really felt like she was that real person. It didn't feel like I was watching an actor dressing up, pretending to be somebody else, performing as a character. It really felt like I was watching the real person. And so Allison Janney did a remarkable job, and I will not be surprised if she wins the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress, because she was that good. And overall, I just really loved how this film took a different direction to what you would normally expect from a kind of biographical sports drama. It was, in a way, it was an underdog sports drama where we're seeing this character of Tonya Harding battling her way up the ranks in an attempt to become the best skater in the world, and not often actually achieving that. So we're really kind of rooting for her in a way, even though she's kind of this twisted, crazy individual. We're kind of rooting for her to succeed because it's got that kind of underdog, true story, sports drama element to it, but it's also got that really kind of whip smart, kind of wickedly funny, dark sense of humour to it as well. So it's like a really great kind of black comedy almost at the same time. But overall, I don't really have any big problems with this film. I don't think it's like one of the best films of the year or anything, but I don't really have any major criticisms. I mean, there were moments in the film that did drag, it wasn't always firing on all cylinders. It did feel a lot longer than it was. But that being said, I never lost interest. I never got bored. There were moments that did drag a bit for me, but on the most part, I loved this film. I didn't really have any major issues with it, so Overall, I'm going to give I, Tonya 5 stars. And there we have it, that wraps up my review of I, Tonya. Have you seen the film yet, and if so, what do you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, if you like this and you haven't already, be sure to click subscribe to see more. If you missed my last review, be sure to go and click over here to catch up on my last review, or perhaps down here to catch up on one of my recent videos. But with that said, I've been David O'Sullivan. I'll see you next time.